Hello and welcome to today's tutorial on how to secure an interview. Now in today's world, the best way to secure an interview and the way most often used, more likely than not, is to submit a resume and hope that you get noticed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to utilize the talent report as a tool lending credibility and validation to your resume. And as you'll see, I have the talent report up. If you don't have yours, they are free through iVETX to veterans and their family members. So it's about a 30-minute process. If you haven't been through it, you have to go through it. Um, Companies are paying big dollars just to get these reports for their employees, and these are available for free to the veteran community through iVETX. Oh, going on. I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go through just the key points in the talent report that you're gonna want to highlight and adapt over to your resume so that you stand out. Number one thing, always cite the reference source. And this little blurb right here, Target Training International Success Insights registered trademark, talent profile for Sergeant Sample, November 2014. Now you're going to want to change the name and the date on there, but generally speaking, that's how you cite a source. You put a little asterisk up next to what you're citing. You put that little information down there with a follow asterisk, and I'll show you how to do that going forward. In the report, the first thing that you come to is the general characteristics. Now, there's going to be anywhere from 2 to 3, 4 paragraphs of information. What you really should do is maybe pull out anywhere from 1 to 3 quick sentences, of which you're going to shorten down to just bullet points for information. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. Going on to the value to the organization, these are already in bullet point format. So you go down. Honestly, I would probably use 3 to 4 of these bullet points for the value to the organization when citing a reference source on your resume. Any more, you're going to lose the attention of the hiring manager. So the last thing beyond the value to the organization is your ideal work environment. On this, you might choose 1 or 2 of the bullet points to add to the resume, just to kind of give an idea of where you're going to be best suited in that company. And realistically, you should choose the bullet point that best relates to the job you're applying for. And here is an example of pretty much what an average resume looks like coming in. It's got a lot of information that doesn't really mean anything. Professional, leader, trainer, 25 years of military experience, highly confident, motivated, and creditable reputation. Okay, great. First of all, you're going to get the 25 years of experience in the section below where it actually says experience. So there's really no need to be redundant about things. In the next slide that I'm going to show you, I'm going to actually show you how to whittle this down to useful, pertinent information. Going through the skills, you're going to see a little bit of an adaptation of, obviously, award-winning leadership. All this stuff is really great, but it doesn't mean anything. And hiring managers don't read that and say, oh my gosh, this guy's an award-winning leader. Let's call him right now just because you wrote it on there. As we can go to the next screen here, I've highlighted all the samples. Why don't I first touch on the header, the information, your name in big, bold, right up at the top to stand out. Now, if you're going to stand apart, you may as well have your name stand apart. And that's what I've done up the top there. You're going to see Sergeant Sample in bold lettering, not humongous, not ridiculous, but in bold lettering up at the top in the middle. Now, going on, you can see I've put Litchfield Park. I didn't put 123 A Street, Litchfield Park, and there's a specific reason for that. When you put 123 A Street, 123 A Street could be a $2 million home, and you're applying for a job that pays about $25,000 a year. You might really want this job. You might be retired. You just want this job. You think it'd be great. It's local to you. Somebody could put your address in and see the home you live in and see that you're applying for this job and say, there's just no way this guy is going to want this job or girl, and literally deny you just because of that. So keep that in mind. You don't really want to put the physical location of your home on a resume, but you want to put the city that you're in just so you can show a hiring manager, ideally, is it going to be a 2-hour drive to work in the morning, or are you just down the street? Always the same city helps, but if you don't live in the same city, don't put that you live in the same city. You don't want to lie. Another thing, Sergeant Sample, you'll notice that it's maybe a little bit hard to tell here, but what I've done is I've gone and kept it in uniformity with the rest of it, all the other information. It's black. The way to do that is put the cursor behind the email, push delete once or twice until it turns black, just like everything else. That way it's not a link, it's not blue, it doesn't look different, it's uniform to everything else. Okay, now let's go ahead, and then the next one is actually just, it's the same thing, except for I've taken out all the highlights. And the way that I adapted over the information from the talent report, you'll see the asterisks. I put value to ABC company. You're addressing the company you're submitting the resume to directly. Very important. It personalizes it. It makes it actually so that a hiring manager reads the information because it's addressed to them. If you know the name of the hiring manager, you're going to want to reference that as well on the cover sheet. Attention, Margaret Smith, ABC company, whatever it may be. But if you do know the name of the individual you're sending it to, put that on the cover sheet and address them specifically. And what I've done is I've really shortened down the bullet points. Everybody typically says, I'm a self-starter, I'm dedicated to achieving results, I have a positive sense of humor, I'm competitive. But now what you've done is you've not only said it, you've not only listed it, but you've cited your reference source. And you'll notice that down there again. That's what I was saying before. What you can also do is you can add your entire talent report to your LinkedIn profile. Very easy. You just basically drag over a copy of your talent report and you drop it into the link. That way they can have access to it. And if somebody's willing to look that hard into you, you want them to be able to see all that information on you. So don't be hesitant about putting your report up on the on LinkedIn. Mine's up there. There's no real personal information that you're going to be concerned with aside from how to communicate with you, and that's never a bad thing. Okay. Now, if you wanted to go all out, you can. Maybe some really higher level positions, C-level executives, directors, stuff like that. You can always go really all out and you can adapt whatever you want. This is a good example of what Teresa here has done. You can see it's sectioned off. It looks clean. It's kind of a leave behind. So if you were pulled in for an interview, you want something to leave behind. This will leave a good impression. Always citing the source of TTI, Target Training International, Success Insights. It's a very, very credible report. It's the oldest in the industry, and over 100,000 companies, including American Express and many, many others, are utilizing that report. So there's a good chance that they're going to see that and they're going to know exactly what you're talking about. Otherwise, they'll just Google TTI Success Insights and they'll see that it's a very, very valuable source. Now, we've seen as much as a 400% increase in actual interviews from these resume development techniques here. So being as looking for a job is now your job, utilize this information and put it forward. And beyond that, I'm available to you at david@ivetx.com for any more questions that you might have, or even if you say you want to send me a quick note saying, hey, I utilized the techniques and it worked perfectly. I'd love to hear it. And other than that, I wish you the best of luck and continue on. Thank you.